Welcome to Hear Us Out, the music and media blueprint brought by yours truly, Rhyver and I, ladidai. And we're excited to get into it. It's our first episode.
Episode number 1 on March 5th. Okay. We love it. You know, we're excited to be here. We heard the requests. All right. To give some backstory, just really quick. Lottie and I were speakers on a Waconomy. Shout out to Waconomy. Shout out to Tips. We were speakers on a Waconomy space, and we were just kicking some game about the entertainment industry and just the background of it. And folks were like, honestly, we would listen to a podcast of Rhyver and Lottie, and we were like, what was that you said? I don't know. We might need to make that happen. So here we are. Here we are. You know, I'm loving it.
Giving y'all all the game, and we'll be here every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're tuned in live on Twitter and Twitch.
Yes. We're so excited, y'all. So, Lottie, should we get into it? Episode 1.
Let's get into it, you guys. We're talking about email and DM etiquette today because we've seen that is still a very present issue. So we are going to talk about the best way to be able to communicate with folks nowadays, and we're going to cover all the good things, all the bad things, all the ugly things. And we're not going to name no names, trust.
Don't worry. You're anonymous over here, all right? Listen.
And if you got questions, tag us at Hey, Hear Us Out on Twitter, and we'll be able to answer those for you, or comment live on Twitch, and we'll be able to address those throughout the stream and afterwards.
We will. So let's really get into it, because this is something that has been a recurring theme for both of us. You know, we both have had some experiences with some email DM, the lack of etiquette in those places. And honestly, y'all, it's super important. The professionalism that goes into it, when it works. But when it doesn't, you could low-key shoot yourself in the foot. So we felt like it was pertinent that we started out with this, if we're going to be talking about the music and media blueprint, because a lot of it is about, you know, how you present yourself and how you
that first impression.
First impressions are everything. Okay. Everything. So look, on this side, hear us out. Hear us out when we get into this. Hear us out, because it's going to get real. Okay. But let's kick it off, Lottie. Let's do it. Let's make this happen. So first and foremost, let's just talk about, like, seriously, on a serious tip, the importance of it really does lie in the fact that, like, how you approach someone, especially when it's on the internet. And I know the internet is such a different time. We're all constantly communicating that way, via text, via DM, via all of that. But like Lottie just said, that first impression goes a long way, especially when you're making an ask. Like, how you approach that and how that comes across has to be with tact. Like, you have to kind of be prepared for, you know, whatever business interaction can come from that. And making sure that you put your best foot forward the first time goes a long way. For sure. Let me just pull up, Lottie. I'm about to pull up our thing because I don't want to get us off track here. Okay.
Yeah. So like, obviously, there's so much that's important to know. Like, when you're first reaching out to somebody, before you even send them the email, send them the DM, the very first thing you should do is your research, because that's really what's going to dictate the entire message. So, for example, if you're going to talk to someone who's like in marketing at a label, you're not going to be like, hey, listen to my music, because that's not their job. So make sure the thing that you're asking for is related to the actual field that they're in, and also check their bio. That's where you'll find the best way to hit them. If they're like emails only, no DMs, and you're sending them a DM, you already lost, because they told you not to pitch them that way. So just pay attention. All the information that you need, you're going to find on their profiles, whether that's on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, but also like a quick Google search sometimes can go a long way too with providing context.
Yeah, and it's super important to stay up to date on where a person is as it pertains to their career moves. in the like music and entertainment media industries, things shift a lot. Changes happen so fast. So doing that quick Google search could even help you to see like, oh shoot, this manager that I was going to reach out to is actually an agent now. So maybe I need to have a little bit of approach. Like, you know, there is a lot of transitions that's happening as a result of the pandemic, and just things are changing. People are shifting. People are changing their perspective on how they approach business, especially in this industry. So staying up to date on people's career moves is super important, because you don't want to reach out to somebody and be like, yo, what's up? Person that I thought.
Please, and please know, yo, please know hey, please know hello. Like those one word, even worse, a link.
Shooting a link in the DMs. Yo, just check this out. No subtext, no content, like just no nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe not off to the best start. Maybe not off to the best start.
Once you've done your research, you know the proper way to contact them, whether that's an email or a DM. That first like greeting or subject line
is everything. It's everything. It's everything, y'all. And
that's the first of the first impression.
It is it is what will determine whether or not they actually open it. So obviously we know the subject line is email, but the like greeting in the intro is on the DMs. If you're trying to talk to a C-level executive at a record label or an agency or a management company or whatever the case may be, if you're trying to talk to an executive, anything, any position, you should probably, unless you have a personal relationship with them, you should probably make sure that you at least have some form of a greeting. Hello, hi, how are you? Hi, we may not
also my name is, like a quick intro on you, because they don't know who you are, right? Like, and this is like if it's a cold email. Like if it's a warm email, like we've met before, I'm following up, and that's a whole different situation. But with cold emails, you don't have a lot of leeway because they do not know you.
Yeah, and that subject line is everything. Not having a subject line does not get you far. You must have one if you're going to send an email. If you send
no subject line is funny because it'll literally show up as no subject.
No subject. No subject. Now, what? You want to give people context. When you have that subject line, I always tell people it's so important to like get something to hook, like get people in. You know, what can you do to draw attention to your message so that it stands out? You never know how many cold emails a person may be getting in their inbox every single day. So if you have something that can catch their eye, but is not, you know, anything too out of pocket, but just something that's like, hey, you know, potential opportunity, whatever the case may be that you want to kind of frame it as, so that you can get the eyes on your email or your message, that's great. But always starting out as if you're speaking to a human on the other side of the line. Like, I think sometimes we forget, we're moving so fast trying to get our things done, that we're all human beings interacting. Sometimes you saying, hey, morning, how you doing, could change somebody's whole day because they haven't said anything.
Back to that whole like really quick doing your research line. Like sometimes if I see, like, for instance, if I'm trying to reach out to like an A&R and I saw that their artist's song just charted on Billboard, be like, hey, nice to meet you, yada yada, congratulations on so-and-so, their first top 5 hit. That's amazing. That's gonna make them want to read the rest of your message, because they're like, oh,
somebody giving me flowers,
congratulations, a happy birthday or whatever.
It's my birthday and you knew?
Whether it's a bar mitzvah, a wedding, a Grammy, whatever.
It's
congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. Truly. Yeah, no, but for real, y'all, it does go a long way to kind of kick it off that way and not just dive right into the business all of the time. Sometimes you need that little bit of intro, especially if you have a
one-line thing, right? Because like the email or the DM is not going to be long. If it's an email, it's a first email too. It's short. If it's a DM, it's even shorter, because DMs look long as hell, like in that teeny little space bar on Twitter.
And they like.
So it's like your DM, you don't want them to be more than like 3 sentences. And if you are going to send like a link or an attachment, send it that first go around. Don't be like, hey, is it cool if I send you whatever? Because what do you want them to be respond? Oh, yes. They're not, they're like, oh, brother.
Or they might forget to respond. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have 17,000 things I'm working on every single day. So I might be looking at the email and I'm like, oh, there's no attachment. And then my phone rings over here and I answer the phone call. And now I have completely forgotten that I was supposed to follow up with you about the
And once
attachment.
that email is opened, they're not going to remember it. It's a whole thing.
So just set yourself up for success, putting it all in one place and being clear. I think that's the biggest thing for me. I often get emails from people and I have no context. Okay, maybe that's a subject line and they did do the greeting, but then they're just like, see attached.
Right. And it's like, what's the ask? Like, you got to be
Asking
really
me,
clear.
what am I looking at? Why am I looking at it? Have we had a former conversation about this?
Right.
Do I even know what you're talking about? That's super important to think about before you just throw it out there, just some food for thought.
And also just following on that point, like, especially if it's like, say it's like, an A&R, it's like, oh, send me beats. And they tell you specifically, like, send me MP3s, but you send a wave and you already know how wave files with beats goes. Those don't even fit. It comes to Google Drive, it's a whole thing. So it's like, just make sure you're following instructions too, because a lot of times that's really going to hurt you. So if they're like, send me, and sometimes they'll even tell you, make this a subject line, or make sure you mention this in the body of the email, or make sure you send an attachment and not a link, or a link and not an attachment, or this type of attachment. It's like following directions sometimes is like half the battle, and they'll make it easy for you if they literally tell you.
If they give you directions, definitely follow them, because on the back end, there's probably process that they have to review things, to get things done, how they save things on their computer so it doesn't get lost, what have you. So if they're asking you to send it in a certain way, whether or not you fully understand or whatever the case may be, it will behoove you to just kind of follow that, because it might raise the chances of them actually paying attention to your email or your DM or whatever it is that you're sending them. This is across the board. It's not necessarily specific to one aspect of the industry, but just in general, like I said, things move so fast. Everybody's working on 5,000 things at one time. So having a document sent as an attachment that they can just save to their computer and they know where it's going and where it's at and what collection it's in, so that when they go back to review it, it helps with their process and it helps to get whatever it is that you're asking for actually visible to them. So keep all of that in mind, please. Just make sure we don't have anything going on in these chats, okay? Just making sure. So
questions? Not yet, right?
No, not yet.
So far, so good.
We can keep it flowing. We can keep it flowing and keep it going. So let's talk about the building the relationship though. Like before you make the ask. We touched on it, but like,
yeah, I'm a big fan of that personally. I'm someone who's very like social media active. So I've probably liked or commented or shared or whatever, something in relation to the person multiple times before I even hit them. So it's like, by the time the opportunity comes around where they're like, oh, send beats and this and that, they're already sort of like acquainted with me. They're like, oh, I've seen that app before or whatever. And so when I send it their way, they're like, oh, so-and-so. And they might not have ever met me, right? It's all like virtual interactions for the most part. Maybe it was like this one time at a party in person. But like, if you can get familiar indirectly with the people that you're trying to get in contact with, then your cold reach out becomes a little warmer because they're affiliated in some, and again, they might not necessarily know you, they might have never heard a song, they might have never seen you in their life, whatever, but social media makes the world so much smaller and brings us a lot closer because it allows us to interact with people's content. And if you interact enough meaningfully, that can go a long way.
Getting your name to be remembered, familiar name, familiar profile picture, familiar face, whatever the case may be. But it is super important to kind of have some form of engagement with that person, because you don't want them to be like, who the heck? What is this? Okay, no, I don't even like that. That's how you shoot yourself in the foot. So even just trying to put forth the effort of having some level of engagement, obviously we know it's easier said than done, but it helps when you're making that first ask or sending that cold email or whatever your situation may be, for sure. Don't take that part for granted.
That part.
Now, let's talk about providing value though, for real, because I found too that like sometimes it depends. It really does depend. I think it does depend on the situation, but I find that sometimes it's like people, if a person reaches out to me and they're like, hey, I'm asking you for this thing, but here's also something that I can provide to you that is of an asset or a benefit or a value to you, then there's a transaction situation that starts to happen here. It's like, oh yeah, I can help you with this, you can help me with that. Let's talk business. Let's actually figure that out. If you can position yourself to figure out, how whatever your skill sets are, whatever it is that you're offering, whatever it is that you're trying to get seen, your script, your song, your video, whatever the case may be, if it solves a problem or if it's helping, the person find what they've been looking for or whatever the case may be, you can often lead with that. Like, how are you helping
100%.
them?
1,000%. And the reason why that's also so important is because it also makes you stand out, because people are asking them for stuff all day, every day. Listen to my song, sign me, make me famous, this, that, and the third. So when they receive that message or email where it's like, this is actually what I can do to help you, they're like,
Right.
oh, wait a minute.
Like, wait, hold up. Someone's trying to help me for once? Oh,
99% of the time, no one's doing it.
Truly, no, truly. If you can figure out, how that value, if you provide value more than just, whatever your artistry is or whatever it is that you're trying to get eyes on, definitely goes a long way. Everybody always could use an extra hand, an extra set of eyes, extra set of whatever it is. So think about it from that perspective for sure. And I guarantee it could probably help. Obviously, you may not necessarily get immediate responses every single time. Be like that. Sometimes people are super busy, but it can help. You never know. And it's worth it to try. So definitely try to provide value.
So I also want to kind of get more into examples and structure. So
Yes.
if you don't already, just throwing this in there, you should follow Rob Abelow on Twitter and also on LinkedIn. I love his content on there. But his @ on Twitter is Abelow, which is ABELOW, Rob. And he has a really great template on how to send a cold email to, a manager, an agent, or some other sort of like music professional. So if you go to Twitter and you type in cold reach out, you should be able to find that tweet. And also we'll link it on the page, but it's a really great outline and it's color coded. It tells you the reason why you should mention certain things a certain way. I love it because it actually helped me. Like I have not to brag, but I have an amazing cold email game. I have an amazing cold DM game. Like I'm usually more surprised when I don't get a call back or whatever, because the messages be fire. But I actually saw his template and I like tweaked my own template to be more similar.
That's fire. That's fire. Look at that. Value was provided. Look at that.
Really good. It's really good. Following the right people on social media can go a long way, but that's a conversation for another day.
Whole conversation in itself, using it as a tool in that capacity. Definitely. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but like, let's talk about some example. Like, what are some examples of things that you saw that you were like immediately no? And then other things where you're like, oh, actually, I'm going to respond to this. Or, oh, I actually,
Yeah, for sure. No, I have, I received an email where, an individual had told me in passing, hey, I'm going to send you something. And I was like, okay. They were like, yeah, I already got your email. I'll shoot you over an email. I'm like, all right, cool. And I do know this person for sure. Definitely know them. But then when they sent me the email, there was no subject on it. And it just said, hey, see attached. And I was like, what am I? So when I opened the attachment, it's the beginning stages of a proposal, but I didn't know any details. I didn't know what this proposal was for. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know why it was being sent to me. Was it that they wanted me to look at the proposal? Were they asking for my feedback on the proposal? Were they pitching the proposal to me? Either way it went, because I had so many questions, it proved to me that their approach didn't work. Because now I had so many questions, I'm like, I don't even know where to start in my response to you.
and once you don't know when to start, you're just like, I'm just not.
If I have to put in more thought in asking you what this is about and less thought in how I can actually be helping you, that's not of service to you. It would behoove you to send me, an email that is a little bit more clear so that I can know, okay, this is exactly what they want my eyes on. And now I don't have to spend any extra thinking capacity on anything other than what is actually in service of what you need. And so in that situation, I was kind of like, this is a teaching moment of, hey, in the future, I would recommend if you're sending out some emails to someone and you're asking for help in any capacity, you definitely should provide some more context as to what it is that they're looking at and what you need help with. I wasn't even sure. All I got was a proposal, and I could tell that maybe it wasn't done, maybe it was, but I was like, is this a pitch to me? Are you pitching this proposal to me, or are you asking for feedback on this proposal? And if you're pitching it to me, then I'm already kind of feeling like it's I don't really know, because I'm so confused as to what this even is to begin with. I have no context. And sometimes context is everything. I think people underestimate the value of giving people the backstory behind what it is that you're doing, or just talking to them in general about whatever it is, just bare minimum. So that's definitely an example of when I was kind of like, I don't even really know what to do here. But an example of when it works, and when it works, it works.
It works.
It works. I do some event planning / event curation, event production, as one of my bread and butter. And it's interesting. I had parents reach out to me as they were planning a party for their daughter, and they sent me over a message, and it had literally every single detail. Hey, we saw your work. We really enjoy it and we love it. We would love to inquire about your availability for my daughter's event. Here's the details: the date, where they were hoping to have it location wise, how many guests they were hoping to have, what the event was about and for, kind of giving me a sense of the idea as to what they want. What are your prices and your availability? How can we get on a consultation call? And it was very clear. Everything was there for me, was laid out for me, and I could see it. Okay, cool, great. Now we can have a conversation about what this looks like, and we can go back and forth on it. I think that was super, though, in those moments of getting that kind of information is super helpful for me, because I have everything that I need to assess whether or not I can actually help them. And there doesn't have to be a lot of email back and forth exchanges of, okay, well, what did you mean by this? Well, what was that? And what was this? It cuts down the time when you're just super clear, upfront, and professional from the beginning. What about you? What are some examples? I want to know. What's the tea?
So here's the thing. I'm a manager predominantly, right? It's like I do other things in music, but it's mostly like, I'm not an A&R. I'm not. So people are like always trying to like send me things to like listen to or check out, which, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But I think, for the most part, don't send people stuff like unsolicited. Like, if I didn't ask you for beats, if I didn't ask you for music, if I didn't ask you, and if it's like cool, then maybe it's cool. Like, I don't know, but I'm just like, I don't ever want to open Pandora's box. I have so many DMs where it's like, check out my beats. The funniest part where it's like, check out my music, and there's no link, because then it's like, what?
So now I have to go to the page.
I gotta go. Yeah, and a lot of times they don't even be having links, so it's a whole situation there too. But I want there's a lot of things that don't work on me, and it's because also the volume of messages I get across Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, my newsletter, email, it's way too many things.
That's true. I think too, it's interesting you brought that up. I'm glad that you used the term unsolicited material, because when I was working in management on the TV film side, and at the agency, like, we were not allowed to receive unsolicited information, and we got it all. Had people call and email.
I don't even think about that. Like, if the job requires you not to even.
No. Yeah, we do not receive, we do not look at, we do not accept unsolicited material for a lot of reasons. But because of that, the natural question of, well, if you don't, how do I get your attention? How do I get your eyes on my stuff? So many actors are like, can I send you my reel? Can you give me notes on my reel? Is it good? Is it not? You know what I'm saying? And it's hard. It definitely is hard. And I think, to your point, having a solid cold email template, it can help. It can help maybe have someone want to kind of give you a shot. But I will say
or,
that,
or at least redirect you, because a lot of times you
Yeah.
can message someone and they might not necessarily be able to help you directly,
They
but
can
if
push
you
you to
come with a dope pitch, they'll be like, I'll point you in the right direction.
someone who can help. But it's all about the approach, and it's all about your execution for sure. Sometimes, you may go to a person that works at one of the bigger name agencies or management companies. I can tell you right now, if it's unsolicited, it's like a very low chance that they might get their eyes on it. It's like really, really, really hit or miss. I can definitely say I personally was so busy, having 60 clients that I'm responsible for and making sure that people are where they're supposed to be and doing all of these different things, that if I had an unsolicited email come through in the midst of the 150 emails I had unread, I'm filtering it. It's going away. I don't have time for it, unfortunately. So having a solid, like I said, that hook line though, sometimes I did come across a couple where it's like, this could be interesting. We can't take it on. Maybe someone over here can, or I can't actually help you with this situation, but I can give you some better guidance on things that you can be doing to make yourself, more put yourself out there a little more, maybe in a better way, something like that,
For sure. I do want to share an example that I thought was really good. So I'm going to read it to you, but I'm obviously going to, you're not going to get any names or whatever, but it was really good. And I was like, I love this message. So here goes. Hello, I've been following you for a while and I love your music industry info opportunities thread. Boom, right off the bat, you gave me a compliment and you told me that you've been watching my page and my content. Love it. Great. Awesome stuff. Then he says, I'm a musician and filmmaker in LA. Just wanted to reach out and connect. I'm trying to build my network with cool and talented people. I currently work with this executive who works at this label who manages this artist. Boom. Specific. He said who he was, he said what he wanted, and he also gave me some affiliations that he knew I'd be interested in. I do a bunch of cool stuff ranging from playing instruments to 3D animation. Maybe we can help each other out in some way. Signed, so-and-so. Now he's telling me about his skills. And again, I work with an artist who might need animation or instrumentation or some other thing. So it's like, okay, I'm interested. Because you came at me correct. You mentioned some things that I care about, and then you mentioned some other things that I care about, and you were very specific in those things. Love it. And so I responded to him basically being like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's hop on a call. We hopped on a call. He told me some other cool things. He did share me some music, and he didn't say in his initial message, oh, I'm gonna play you my music or show you my stuff, but we were on the call and it was a good report, so he did all that. And then because I had given him some feedback on stuff, he sent me like a kind of somewhat of like a gift box in relation to like which is a part of his rollout for his release. And I was like, I love this. This is so well thought out. And I'm actually going to post about it on social. But
really, that gift box, listen, I don't know, music side, it might be a little different. TV side, thank you notes and just anything as a token of appreciation for people spending their time on anything that they have done for you is like it's like an unspoken rule. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like,
I think that's definitely more of a thing, I feel like, in TV film, but maybe it is
definitely a thing. And again, so I'm gonna say it here because it goes a long way. If someone does actually respond to you, if someone does actually take the time to meet with you, I'm gonna give you this advice because it is like I promise it's an unspoken like rule. It is a law. It's an unspoken law. You must send a thank you note after. Like, people take note when they don't get a thank you note after, taking the time out of their day to invest in conversation with you, so send a thank you note to thank them for their time. Everybody's super busy. That goes a long way. And be thoughtful about it. Just like Lottie said, he sent something as a follow-up and she was like, this is great. I mean, value provided times 3, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind for sure. For sure.
Yeah, like, it started out with a cold message. So.
And it was done well.
Great.
And here we are. Got on a call. We got, values provided. We might be working together. We love that. We love that.
Really cool. And then I introduced him to my artist as a whole thing. But yeah, it's like, again, that first point of contact can be it can make or break it, right? Because he could have been like, I'm an artist, he listens to my music, and I would have said no, I just wouldn't have responded at all. because it's like, it's too many.
That left on red.
Yeah.
No, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. It'd be like that.
So
No, but that's good. I'm glad. Look at that, y'all. So tangible examples, you know, keep all this stuff in mind. It goes a long way, y'all.
I do.
That first impression, everything. It's like when it's done well, you got a new friend in me. You got a new friend in me.
Yeah, no, in all seriousness,
Buzz
no.
Lightyear, you got a friend in me, or Woody, whoever, whichever one it was, you got a friend in me after that. We're good.
But maybe we can get into some Q&A if anyone has questions.
Let us know. We'll hear you out because you heard us out.
We appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in the first episode. This is cute. I can get used to this.
Cute. We're here, y'all. We're so excited to be here.
A little weekly stream. I'm not mad at it.
A little get up, a little combo, a little powwow, drop some gems. Let it be. Oh wait, let me check.
Yeah. What do you call people on Twitch? Twitchers? Tweeches?
Yes.
People who watch on Twitch.
You know, it's funny. I'm sitting up in here reading the comments. We got somebody. It must have been a bot. It's probably a bot. Offering a promotion as we're talking about.
Oh, not we got bots.
Literally, as we're talking about this, we get a promotion in the. We get someone off.
No bots allowed.
As we're talking about it, a promotion jumps in the chat. Love that. Love that for us.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Honestly, y'all, it's all good because we'll be back. We would look, not the bot. I know, an emotional taco. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Shout out to Emotional Taco, who was our first follower.
Woo, woo. Shout out to Emotional. We gonna put you.
An Emotional Taco. We love you.
Honestly, an Emotional Taco. You didn't inspire me. I might have to pull up to the taco truck out here in a second. Thank you.
Yeah, that's something with LA, right?
Yes, very LA. Very LA, very LA. Love it. I'm so glad to hear you're enjoying the conversation and the tips. If there's anything you specifically have questions on or want to hear or have us cover, please let us know. Like, we're totally open. We have ideas. Believe me, we got ideas.
Sure.
Y'all, we want to hear from you.
So yeah, we have like obviously like our format for like what we're gonna discuss every week. But if there's any like thing like pressing, add us on Twitter. That's what we're here for. Add us on Twitter at hey, hear us out, and be like, I want to discuss this, or I have questions on this, and we will figure out ways to incorporate it into upcoming episodes.
Definitely. I love it. I love it. This was cute. Episode 1 in the books.
Hey, and if y'all are here, y'all are day ones, like literally.
A1 since day one, March 5th. Okay.
March 5th, 2 p.m.
Tips. Tips is in the comments trying to show us an example of what not to do. Okay.
Tips were past that now.
What not to do. You see, for example, we just had a streamer by the name of, or a viewer rather, by the name of Tips17, who just slid onto the chat and said, what's good with that promo deal though? Now he's responding to a bot, but in this example, you know, maybe, you know, he's never had a conversation with the said bot. So what's good with that promo deal?
The bots respond.
Way to facilitate that.
Do the bots respond?
Tips has conversations with the bots often, and they do respond. Actually, I've seen it.
Interesting.
He's our fellow bot warrior. He puts on that. He puts on the gear to protect us from all of the bots out there. Bots need love too. Okay, yes, exactly. They need conversation, all of it. So I'll leave that to you, sir.
But we appreciate you guys so much. Check out our link in our bios everywhere. And that's also where you can check out our tips page in case you want to tip us for the tips.
Buy us a coffee. I love coffee. I'm about to get one right now.
If you want to give us a tip, it's only $2 or more. Feel free to do so. Or you can leave comments on the page too. It's so cute. So feel free, and we'll have some, you know, exclusive content shared on there. This stream will live on Twitter. It'll also live on Twitch. It'll eventually live on YouTube. And then we'll have some snippets, short form, on our Instagram and TikTok. So make sure you're following on there so you can find all that good stuff.
Follow us on socials, turn those post notifications on. We'll be here every Sunday. We're so excited. We keep it short and sweet for y'all. Nothing too much.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes of banter. You don't need more than that.
Exactly. We love it. All right. Well, if there's no questions, look, we've done our due for the day. Thank you for hearing us out. What?
Hear us out. Follow us everywhere at Hey, Hear Us Out to solicit us. No, I'm kidding.
But is she
But
though? I don't know. May not be. No, kidding. Thanks, y'all. Look, Lottie, I'll see you next week.
next week. And also next week is South by. So that's gonna be a fun week as well. It's gonna be crazy.
Wow, it came so fast. Wow, that came so
All right,
fast.
that week, next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Well, everyone, enjoy your Sundays. Thank you for tuning in to Hear Us Out, episode 1. I'm River.
Ladidai, Lottie for short.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Here.